Hey skiers, it's Bob with SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to our 2026 ski test. We got an Armada Declivity 92 Ti for you today. This is a really strong ski. It's interesting because it is such a good carver for 92 that we kind of sometimes forget about how versatile and well-rounded it is. The caveat there is that the skier does have to put in some work in order to access that off-trail versatility. There are certainly easier 92s out there to wiggle around in the woods or the bumps and kind of play in powder. But for power and mixing on and off trail performance for upper level skiers, this is a top choice for sure, and it's been one of our favorites over the years. They have returned it unchanged structurally from last year. We do get a new graphic top sheet, but otherwise same shape, construction, and profile. Last year we saw the move to poplar in the wood core. That continues forward to 2026 as well. Nice thick use of poplar wood core in there as well. We also see their articulated titanal banding, so that sheet of metal on top does have slits carved and milled into it, and the metal is removed and replaced with an elastomer material. That increased flexibility does allow the ski to have a little bit more torsional flex. And what that really does is when it's flexing, it's even getting more engaged into the snow, resulting in a smoother overall feel. So nice, smooth, quiet style of ski here. We kind of compare these to more upscale models like Stokely, and these kind of work well if you're looking for Stokely-like silence without that price tag. We always kind of refer to Declivities as a good option there. They end up being pretty stiff as a result. Definitely there are some stiffer skis, but this thing has a lot of energy and power packed into it. Thicker overall wood core, especially underfoot, and that just goes a long way in creating this sturdy and stable and high confident carving capacity. You know, it's tough because 92s are generally seen as moving into that all mountain range, and yeah, totally, but it's hard to ignore just how well these things work in an on-trail setting. Superchargy, really good for crud, chop, multiple days old groomers, stuff like that hasn't been groomed up in a while. Declivity 92 has no problem with that type of stuff. In terms of shape, we do have a 17.5 meter turn radius here in this 180. And it's got some weight to it as well. Let get backtrack just a second. 2,007 grams in the 180. So we're just north of that 2,000 gram mark. They do feel pretty hefty. Yeah, back to that shape, 17.5 meters, kind of on the short side, and you do have to work a little bit hard to get it. The weight, that 2,000 grams, this amount of camber underfoot, which is pretty substantial for a ski like this. It's a really long camber profile with some good height in the middle. So you do have to push past the weight. You got to push past the camber and the flex in order to access that 17.5 meter arc. So it does feel very energetic as a result when you do hit that number. A little bit more rocker here than we see in the narrower 82 Ti, a little bit more taper as well. This is where we're starting to see the versatility come in through this more gratuitous tip shape with rocker and taper. And then similar in the tail, but again, nothing crazy here. The camber goes pretty far back to that a really short contact point before the tail rocker starts. And then not much in terms of taper here, pretty straight cut at the end of the tail. But that dramatic side cut does allow for those shorter arcs, and also it doesn't waver at speed. This is one of those skis that can go longer than that stated radius with relative ease, because you can play around with that height of camber. So when you're getting it up on a higher edge angle, you can kind of feel the nuances of that camber play around with different turn shapes and styles. So really, you can play around with how deep you want to get that carve going and how big of an edge angle you want. And the ski will respond accordingly because it is a pretty strong and sturdy build. We do have some tester feedback here. Valerian Planche notes that this is very stable at high speeds. It doesn't throw you around aggressively. Perfect combination for fun but serious ski. Fast groomers and hard pack powder is perfect to maximize the ski's potential. Yeah, and I do like that kind of blend of fun but serious ski. I think that the fun is mostly found in the energy rather than the playfulness, so just beware of that. I do think that there is an advanced and expert component here. I think the stiffness, the weight, the camber, that's going to keep some intermediates away, but advanced and expert skiers should be able to handle it with relative ease, as long as you've got kind of the input that you need to have in order to get the ski to perform as advertised. But that's it. Great skis from Armada, really high level of performance, quality finish, and fantastic power. So check this thing out here at SkiEssentials.com, and we'll see you out there on the hill. Bye.